Peace and grand rising to the sovereign, original, indigenous, natural, divine heirs. Today is September the 8th, 1442 on the ancient moon calendar, 1441 on the ancient sun calendar, 2021 on the Greco-Roman calendar, 1737 on the Coptic calendar, and 5,700 and something on the Jewish calendar. I'll have to look that up again. All rise and stand. This is a sovereign, original, indigenous, ancient, natural, divine. Article 3, court action. I am sovereign, living, justice, calling, diminutio, in capitis, diminutio, nolo. In red ink, in propria persona sui juris, in propria solo, in propria horedes. My free chosen sovereign appellation is like to jurisade. In capitis, diminutio, nolo, in red ink, in propria persona sui juris, in propria solo, in propria horedes. No United States corporation, company, citizen, nor their agents, principals, heirs, assigned, nor any derivatives thereof has presumed jurisdiction over any of the Moors, myself included. We are the original ancient ascendants of the great pharaohs of Kemet and of the ancient Moabites and Canaanites. Okay, so the first thing that I want to bring to us and share with you is this, and we call it not fun facts, but fund facts, because it's directly related to all that we're doing, specifically with regards to things like Moorish, sovereign, Dalarian, etc. No matter where on earth our subjects relocate, we are the only government on earth that has the power and authority to tax our subjects, no matter where they go. No other government has this sovereign power nor authority. Why? Because all land is ours. Evidence of this is found everywhere, to include tax codes, travel codes, property rights, land ownership codes, among all other codes. What made me think about that is that I was watching a video by someone doing business as the nomad capitalist. And that's nomad capitalist in all capital letters and black ink. And he tells the citizens to, quote unquote, go where they're treated best. Okay. And when he tells the people to go, the citizens to go where they're treated best, he's saying that wherever you get the best deal for being in the status that you're in, which is an inferior status, go to where that is and live there, or get some documents there apply for citizenship or residency or something. And I was listening to one of his latest videos. And in the video, he said, that what they're doing is they're running from what's coming. They don't want to be subject to the Moors, because they already know that being subject to the Moors means that they're not going to be able to fake and pretend to be us. But whenever they went to other places, people rolled out the red carpet for them because they claimed to be American. Okay, just go listen to Nomad Capitalist, some of the things he says. You can see that, now at one point when he first came out, they were talking about how they could go to all these places and what they would do, and this is why he calls himself a nomad capitalist. What they would do is go to other lands and start businesses. But in starting the business, they would capitalize as many of us as they could. And that's what gave them the tax break back here at D.C. They went and hypothecated the heirs in all the other lands. They would go to the far reaches, I don't care if it was in the jungle, and start something, even if it's just claiming to give the people clean water, or clean air, clean water or some type of food or something. They would go and then they would report that on their taxes that they started a business here. They would put the names of the heirs, the sovereign appellations. They would take the sovereign appellations and put it in capital letters and black ink and send it back here. They would put it in capital letters and black ink on the public record there, but then when they sent it back here, it would be in all lowercase letters so that they would get their benefit from the quote-unquote IRS. Okay, so on the public record over there, wherever they were, they would put the sovereign appellations in black ink and capital letters. And then when they filed their taxes, because they all got taxed by the United States Corporation Company. And when the United States Corporation Company would tax them, they would try and find as many of us as possible to buy into whatever it is. And here's the thing. At first, they were doing it by bringing us things that we like. Chocolate, sugar treats, processed food that we thought, oh, this tastes pretty good. We'll take some of this. And then they would always automatically have us signing delivery slips and all of this kind of stuff. Okay. And then after a while, they ran out of stuff to bring. And not only did they run out of stuff to bring, but they couldn't think of any other way to do it. So what they would do then is go to those same places and either start a church called mission, because that's what those corporate, commercial, Latter-day Saints and all of them do. When they go around the earth, colonizing, and capitalizing is actually a better word for what's really been happening. They would go start churches and have us in their churches calling themselves Feeding the Hungry, etc. And soon, and everybody, I don't care if you couldn't write anything but an X on the dotted line. They would have you to put your X on the dotted line. They would capitalize the X and put that on, and then teach you how to write in black ink and capital letters. So they would start churches, they would start schools, missions, or if all else failed, and most of the time it did, they would go over and pretend to be law enforcement. Or go over and pretend to be the tax assessor. So then they would send back here to the IRS corporation all of our little X's or sovereign appellations, but it would be in black ink, which is that's how they got their benefit with the court fiat system. But they wrote it in there that if we tried to do that, we would be prosecuted because they know who we are. So that's fund fact number one. I don't want to spend a whole lot of time on it because we have some other things to cover. Fund fact number two. The modern European has always known who we are. As long as their green paper fiat is in circulation among the Moors, we are consenting to the behavior on this website. Well, let's go to this website so that you can see what they're doing with their fiat. And I'll put the title, the links to these websites that we're discussing. I'll put it on under this video. Also, please make sure that you go and like under the video and share the information. And if nothing else, put a comment of Islam under the video so that it goes further in terms of the algorithm. That did work, by the way, the other day. But look on the screen more. You see that? They want to be you. Period. Period. They wouldn't dare do that over here. But I went to the, there's this website that's on here talking about noble titles for sale, has a YouTube page. I went onto the YouTube page. And the squirrel that's on the page, and I'm going to call him a squirrel because that's a nice way to refer to him. Because the energy from the page is not agreeable with me. He was saying that recently they are able to start selling noble titles in the U.S. I was like, sound like a lien to me. But the only way that they would even dare make a claim like this is if they're using their own fake money. And they specifically mention here, if you look right here, French feudal barony. So those ones that were calling themselves barons, you know, there it is. Which title do you prefer? French feudal, and they put title with a capital T. Okay? And look at the color of ink. So these are some of the titles here, and you can go and look this up yourself so that you can see that they're selling titles of nobility, noble titles rather, nobility titles. And they got their little, you know, but you have to buy it because you don't have it, right? We didn't have to buy it. Born with it. So if you look here, look what they say about the titles, y'all. It says here, acquiring a genuine noble title is something that naturally, and of course they're going to say naturally, appeals to those who have the means to buy them. They're talking about money. Fiat is actually what they're talking about, not money, because that's not real money. It's fiat. So they're really playing dress up and make believe you're the Moor. It says, who wouldn't want the privilege, because it's not a right, it's a privilege, and it's a privilege under their fake fiat system of being able to use a title previously owned by a renowned figure from history or that was granted by one of Europe's great monarchs. And we are all monarchs, by the way, just so that you all are aware. But look here at the top. Look at this. This is how they know that they are minorities. Buying a nobility title has always been a dream for a minority. And these are, yes, modern Europeans who are stating this. And you'll see that I'll put the link to his YouTube channel, so you can just look at it. It's all fraud. It's all fraud. But it was, believe it or not, there are some Moors who might think they have to go through these types of people to get what those people are trying to get. And what will they do? They'll get your signature, your autograph, and do what? Use your title. And then tell you, they'll whisper to their buddies over here and say, y'all, we got another one in contract. So now you can tax them, you can throw them in jail, you can do whatever you want to do with that one right there because they signed a contract with us. Because they don't know that we can't sell them anything. We're actually trying to hypothecate their title. Now, the language that they're using here, a dream of a minority. Do not tell me they don't know who we are. They need to stop. The hybrids that come on this call, you might as well be quiet. The jig is up. We already know about you. Does that mean we mad? No, we're not mad at you, because if we were you, we would want to be us too. We're not mad. So look at what they're saying here. The perfect title can give you a sense of historical belonging. It can be a great way to honor your ancestors and provide a unique inheritance for your descendants. Your title could even be beneficial for business or just be a great way to enhance your self-esteem. And this is the guy. This is the guy who's putting this out here. So I just thought I would bring that to your attention more. Be yourself more. Please be yourself. Yes, they're going to try and talk trash. They're going to try. They've tried to embarrass you, all of us, by pointing things out and doing all types of craziness. But you know what? We don't even consent to that anymore, because it's a wrap. It's a wrap. We never did consent to it. They want to be you more. And that's proof that they've always known who you are. So there it is. Lordship for sale. What? That would include landlord. That fake title that they give themselves, and then try and pretend that they own something. But the Constitution says that no one can confer. The state, and that means the corporate state, cannot confer a title of nobility on anybody. So let's keep moving. Got some other stuff to talk about. As long as their fiat is in circulation among us, that's their contract. That's why delirium is so important, and that's the only reason why this type of information is being put in our faces, is because we've agreed not to use their stuff. And I'll say this more, most of us are not using fiat anyway. Most of us are transferring credit back and forth. Sovereign credit, digital, electronic, swiping cards. It's the green commercial paper that's the issue, and its energy. So let's move a little further here. Fun fact number 3. Utilities can operate without corporations pretending to operate or govern them. In fact, they, and let's put that in black because it should be in black. They have not been operating nor governing utilities. We have been governing utilities by our own sovereign tacit and or implicit agreements. By picking up the phone and calling someone who sent something in the mail saying we govern these utilities. Let us prove that the utilities can operate without the hybrids by their own admission, because this is important. Let us go to this website here and look at this story that came out in the news right here in this territory. Let me put this on the screen. So the corpses who were working at the utility company here threatened not to come to work. There's about 250 of them that were previously working at these places pretending to operate some stuff and build some people, some persons, some corpses, okay? And because of this whole COVID thing, they threatened to walk out and not show up for work. They were threatening a sick out because they don't want to take the shot, the jab. So let's look at the story. Seattle City Lights was the latest agency. Now this is happening all over the place, where if those corpses walk out and these lights are still on, and they're going to still be on, believe that. Everything is still going to go forth. So it was the latest agency bracing for a possible worker sick out over vaccine mandates. A spokesperson, let me make it a little bigger. A spokesperson told Como News it learned some line crew chiefs, chiefs, in all lowercase letters, could be considering orchestrated action to call in sick Tuesday. However, we confirmed Tuesday morning that just 2 of the 250 high voltage line workers called out, with no evidence it had anything to do with the vaccine mandate. So of course they're going to stay safe. But listen to this. It says, City Light says it had plans in place to maintain electrical service to customers and infrastructure if the sick out takes place. Let's just think about that for a minute. They have plans to keep everything going if all 250 of those persons walk out. Why are they even there? Because the Moors consented. That's why they're there. Because we said, okay, we'll use fiat to pay for stuff. And they said, okay, well, that means we can send the bills. We can send the bills. I'll put the link to this story under this video. Everything can run without fiat. But we got to put something in its place to account for it. So when Moors use the excuse, and it's an excuse, Moors, I have to tell you it's an excuse. When Moors use the excuse that they have to go to work because they have to feed their family and they have to keep the lights on and somebody got to keep this heat on, well, somebody can do that. When we properly, competently govern it, how do we do that? We properly and competently govern the resources like light and electricity and gas by proclaiming who we are, leaning those who are attempting to sit on top of what is rightfully ours. Lean them by court action in red and all lowercase letters. The red and all lowercase letters says it all. And then send some delarium. And you and another Moor scan that delarium in to each other and say, this is $100 million to pay for lights for me and my kin for the next 1,000 years. Or into perpetuity. And make sure you copy the ones doing business as city this and lights this and utility that. Duke Power, Puget Sound. But if you'll notice, City Lights, in this story, they started the story out up here at the top with City Lights in red and all capital letters. It's in red. That's not a mistake. They know who it belongs to. It belongs to those who are in red and all lowercase letters. And that they have, that's a photo of here at Seattle Territory. Those pretending to govern. They could have chose any other color. That goes for everybody everywhere, all of these utilities and stuff. Moors, listen, and I heard Grand Cheek say this in a video one time, and I believe that was the only thing I heard in the video, because after that, all I heard was talking. I couldn't think, because I'm like, he's right about that. It just hit me like a ton of bricks. So I had to go back and watch the video again so I could hear the rest. But he said, you won't even need a job. You need access to your estate. That's what he said. And he's so right about that. The more I look at this, the more I know that as we competently move forward, we won't need a job. We need access to our estate. And only we can give us that. So let's just keep going. We're not bashing anyone who's working on a job. You're sovereign, do what you want to do, but I'm saying the option is there for us all. The option is there for us all, for every last one of us. So let me go back now to the document, and I'll put the link to that story under the video. So now, let's get into our topic for today, which is, again, all of this is related. Everything is related. The topic that we're going to talk about today is something called noble omissions. Noble omissions is the other side of full disclosure. When I, probably about 6 months ago, I heard Warren Buffett, the subject, Warren Buffett, say something about how insurance was the greatest thing to ever happen to them. And insurance was a huge part of his quote-unquote investment portfolio. I wondered why, because I knew it hinged on something that had to do with us, but I wasn't sure what. I knew we insured everything, but I wasn't sure how. We do it by noble omission. They have a clause about noble omission. In every insurance contract, it says that the one who's pretending to insure this is not responsible for any errors or omissions in the paperwork. So really, they haven't insured anything. So noble omissions are a basis for Moorish American Al-Moroccan eminent dominion law. In the United States Corporation Company, the purpose of corporate insurance of any kind, is to cover errors and omissions, which are really noble omissions earthwide. So what are noble omissions? Noble omissions take place when the law of our ancient heirship and ownership of all land, all natural resources, and all commerce is not fully disclosed to those attempting, and I should say pretending, let's put that in there, pretending to buy land, to touch natural resources, or to do any kind of commerce for a fee of any kind. Okay? So, the full disclosure of ancient laws that state our Moorish American heirship at earth are left out of the discussion. Contracting or sale of all goods and services, i.e. there is not full disclosure of who we, the true owners and heirs, are. Proof of that is that nobody on this earth has title to a domicile. For as many years as they've been pretending to buy a domicile, they don't have title. We do. According to self-proclaimed federal postal court judge Mark Christopher, and that's self-proclaimed, that's not something that we call him, but that's what he's calling himself, an example of a noble omission is that in Britain, you, and he was talking to the citizens who listened to him, you only own 4 inches or 6 inches of the topsoil. Everything else belongs to the crown, or be it to the chieftain, because he owns all minerals on, and he started to say on earth, but then he changed it to where he is. So all he's saying is wherever we are, we own it. He said, and that's the city of London chieftain. He controls all minerals. We are also mineral. That's what this Mark Christopher was saying. And what he was saying is the crown owns and controls all citizens. And that the citizens can spend as much fiat as they want on a domicile, but they only supposedly own 4 inches of topsoil. And I'll debate that. In fact, I'll say that they don't even own not 1 grain of topsoil, because they never created and invented no topsoil. We did. So they don't even own that. It says Christopher goes on to, and Mark Christopher, I believe that he's a Moor by bloodline and birthright, but I don't know. I don't know what his mother and grandmother and great-grandmother, I don't know whether they're hybrid or not, but he might be, so he might need to do his own study. But it says Christopher goes on to explain further examples such as that the citizens to whom he speaks might have a quote-unquote title to an automobile, but not to the tread on the tire, which means that the whole automobile can be claimed by the owner of the tread. And I'll put the link to the video, and here's the link here. I'll put all of that in the chat before this call is over. I'll open the chat and put the links in there, and then so that you can look at these as well. It says, now for us, for the sovereign Moorish American Almoroccan heirs, we simply state by title affidavit that the entire conveyance, because it's not an automobile, because what's auto about it, except that we own it. The entire conveyance originated on our land at ancient Morocco, period. So the citizens are making their way to the Moors by way of the information that's coming out. Additionally, in that same video, he talked about how he used the example of someone purchasing, and he called it a house. We know our bodies are a house for us, but he called it a house. And he said that if someone owns 1 brick of that house, but you bought the whole house, at any time they could come back and claim the whole house because of that 1 brick, because they owned that 1 brick. Well, for the citizens, that's true. Except we own all bricks. And it doesn't matter what it is, we own it. I don't care what it is. I don't care if it's plastic. I don't care if it was made in laboratory. I don't care what it is, because even all of the stuff that the hybrids made, because we made them, everything that they hypothecated, we own it, period. No matter how bad they hypothecated it. We just have to properly, competently state that we're the original owners. And the way that you state that you're the original owners will not look like what they did. It won't. Or else you'll look like them trying to pretend to be us. And that's a jail term and some judgment on us if we try to claim something using black ink and capital letters the way they do. So we have to be mindful of why we're doing what we're doing. Because the true ownership does not look like a citizen at all. And you got some citizens that'll be trying to take your head off for trying to be them or trying to be us. Yeah, trying to be them, but you're really us. In other words, if we're trying to be citizens, some of the citizens get upset because they're like, no, you're the nobility. You're not us. And we have no claim if you don't claim who you really are. We don't have protection if you don't claim your nobility. And they're getting to that point now where, you know, there's no protection but in Allah, the Moors, all law. So we have to be ourselves on our land at all times. Everything that we do, we have to keep it in the sovereign jurisdiction. It must stay in sovereign jurisdiction. It must. And the only way that can happen is if we're exchanging our own sovereign money, period. It has to be that way. It has to be that way. If you look at any of the laws over in those other lands, you can look in codes and statutes, and somewhere hidden in that code and statute, they'll say, we don't own it, the Moors do. And sometimes they won't even say who owns it, they'll just say they don't. So, in this place that we're at right now, Moors, all we have to do is keep doing what we're doing and use the lien to do it. That's all we have to do is keep doing what we're doing, do it among each other, using the lien so that they can go on and go where they're going. You know. And in some cases, they may use their fiat to get the same thing that we're using the lien to get when it comes to corporate stuff. And corporate stuff really is not a thing. It's not really a thing. Just like we were saying before, you can be sitting next to someone who's a modern European, and they're in one jurisdiction and you're on the land. They're in a corporate jurisdiction because of their behavior, and there's judgment in the corporate jurisdiction. And we're sitting on the same, supposedly the same bench, or in the same place, supposedly, and we're on our land, period. I will say this. I went yesterday out into the territory to have a service done. And they know now, when they see these turbans, they know. Because anything that I would have said I wanted to do, they were basically just waiting for me to say. They would not enforce their stuff. And rightfully so. So I went ahead and enforced what it is that I wanted done. And of course I didn't pay any fiat because that particular service, they advertise it as it's a free service. Well, we know it's not free, it's prepaid by the Moors. So, and none of the rules that they would put with other customers, quote unquote, they didn't put any of those rules on me. To include math, they didn't even ask. They just said, what do you want to do? And I told them. And they only get to ask one question, maybe two. But that was after I said, what is your name? Because when we say, what is your name, that means court is in session. Because we're identifying parties. So with that being said, are there any questions or comments, etc., about any of the things that we have put forth I'm going to go ahead and, let's see. I'll go ahead and open up the floor as soon as I can get to it, in case there are any questions, comments, etc. Are there any questions or comments?
You're so full of shit, Pauline. What was the service that you had done, Pauline? What was the service you had done, Pauline?
You see how they do that question thing? They want you to speak to them. They want your attention. Just don't give it to them. That's all. Just don't give it to them.
Islam?
Islam.
Your second 90-day notice on...
Go ahead.
No. Cynthia and Bay here, Islam Moors. That system has taken blood oaths to not speak our appellation. And, you know, and I must say I'm guilty of this myself.
How come you're not taking over First Avenue, Pauline? First Avenue.
Go ahead, Jeffrey.
Is that is that, you know, in their literature, I keep looking for them to say our appellation, and I realize they never will. So you know, not that we need them to, but it's I can feel the old programming. Let's put it that way. But I know better. But I just wanted to, you know, just bring that to the surface, that, you know, because I hear it also, like with my brother and sister, they need to hear that system to say our
you're so fucking full of shit. Shut up.
Go ahead.
Poor thing. So anyway, so anyway, I just wanted to bring that to the surface, and because we're never going to see them, speak our appellations.
Come on, Pauline, tell them why you haven't taken over First Avenue.
To do that. Poor thing. Excuse me for saying that. Anyway, I just want to bring that forward. I yield.
Yeah. Islam. So, Empress, listen. That is programming. I'm glad you know that, because see, the gods don't need.
Tell everybody why you haven't taken over First Avenue, Pauline.
He done signed in 30 times. And each time he speaks, we're going to meet him. They actually have to have our permission. See, when they speak in their language. That's the thing, and that's the part we didn't know.
I'm quite alive, you dumb bitch.
When we go into fake court, okay, when we go into fake courts, they start running their mouths, but everything that comes out of it is black, dead English. Black, dead, that's why they keep saying you're black, you're black, you're black, you're black. They are colorblind. They can't see. They can't see. Yes, Justice Theodore, I see you up there. He's lying. They can't see. So how do we expect the blind to see unless we open their eyes? And then we say, all rise and stand. Then what language are they speaking? Their whole language changes. They begin to speak in tongues as the Spirit gives them utterance. Oops. There's the scripture. That's what that means. That's what that means for the Christians. We have to give them utterance. And if we don't give them utterance, or we don't pay any attention to them, then they're not talking to us. You know that thing, speak when you're spoken to? We have to actually speak to them first in order for them to speak back to us. Otherwise, they don't have permission to speak to us. So what do? Run their mouths and make it sound and start speaking dead language. They're speaking in all capital letters. It sounds one way, but they're not talking to us. They're standing in a cemetery babbling. That's what they're doing. And if we start talking back, that gives them life. Because every time we
Islam, Empress. They don't want to. They don't want you to put the word out.
So we can't hear you.
Yes.
Looks like she got knocked out. Oh, she's back.
So see, that is why we should stand firm, because what we are involved in is something that's very far-reaching. So we are in the right place at the right time. I'm amazed at the timing. I mean,
so hopefully you all
just a few years ago.
Islam.
Yes.
Yeah. Islam. Go ahead, Nobility. If you were saying something, go ahead.
Yeah, what I'm saying is that in just a few years, we started doing what we had to do. And I'm amazed at the speed at which everything around us start to move with. All of the jabbing, and even right now in Trinidad, they're talking about everyone having to come in and deal with their properties so that taxes has to be paid, and it's amazing.
Yes.
It's amazing. But I'm happy. I'm happy to be alive. Yes, I'm happy to be alive at this time, to be a part of this movement. I remember years being in the church, and we were praying and saying, God, we want to be around. When you start to move by your spirit, we want you to take full charge of us. And, you know, you're quoting the scripture where Jesus said, greater works than these shall you do, because I go to the Father. And we are looking for this movement this time, and for years, nothing is happening. And then suddenly, the Moors has arisen, and here we go. So I'm happy, I'm excited to be a part of this movement.
Yes, yes, me too, I am too. So we were praying to ourselves, though, and until we realized that we've been praying to ourselves the whole time to get up and do the work and wake up, we were actually praying for ourselves to wake up. There is no other God but the Lord. Period.
Islam.
Even they know that.
Islam.
They know that. And even saying that, it's touching not only my truth center, but it's affecting the programming too. The programming is even trying to, you know, rail against that statement, but it can't, because the spirit is too strong.
Islam, Empress?
So, yes, Islam.
Yes, that's what I used to say when we were coming up, that it was no justice, it was just us. And now we are the justice. Islam, how are you?
There is no other God but the Lord.
Islam,
Allah.
Islam, Sister Light.
Yes,
Since we've been talking, I got 2 phone calls from the same area, the one that keep coming on. He done called me from Jersey, he done called me from Georgia. As we speak, sometimes he'll kick my internet off. I don't know how you do it. Islam.
Well,
There you go. Let me cut him off. His name's called from 313 area code. That's, wow. And he's called from Michigan, Jersey, and Georgia at the same time. I don't know how you do that.
I'll tell you how they do it. I know how they do it because those guys that come onto this call, I already know. And I'm going to mute you just a minute, just because there's a lot of feedback coming. Those guys that come onto this call, I already know that they're the same ones who told the Secretary of State's office here about us. And they were not surprised to see us. They weren't, you know, it was just like, okay, you're here, they're here. You're here just like they said you were coming. That's those guys. Those guys they got to be alphabet boys. They have to be. They got to be. FBI, CIA, something like that. They got to be.
I know they're working for the CIA. They would.
Yes, they got to be. Because who in the heck has access to that many darn phone numbers and you calling people in the middle of the night, and you got to be getting paid to do what you're doing, because nobody does that just because they have an extra hour a day.
One other thing, Sister Light, and don't ask me how they do it, but like for the last 2 or 3 lessons, they would take and and disconnect my internet service. You know, I can't get back in the meeting. I said, what in the world?
Yeah. And they're the ones who, I believe they do that to mine too. I don't believe that it's the platform kicking, you know, booting us out. I believe it's them. But they know I ain't scared, and I don't care, because I'm coming right back in. Ain't so much they can do.
Islam.
Maybe we need to put a lien on them.
They're already leaned. Their job, let me tell you what their job is. Their job is to test us, just like we've been saying. And that's the job, actually, of all modern Europeans that are here on this land. Their job is to test the Moors into our greatness, just like the Circle 7 says. We just read the Circle 7. It's chapter 20. Let me see. Let me go to it real quick. It's one of my favorite chapters in the book. I believe it's chapter 29. 25, 28, 29. It's called, it's magistrate and subject. That's the one. That's chapter, chapter 29. It's chapter 29. It says, this is what they're here for. We call them, that's the one that I read. This is one. We're the magistrate, they're the subject. They're the subject. That's why this is in the Circle 7. That's why it's here. When I tell you they're subject to the Moors, here's your proof. You don't have to believe me. Look at the Quran. It says, and it's right there in the very first verse what their job is. It says, O thou, the favorite of heaven, whom the Son of Men, thy equals, have agreed to raise to sovereign power and to set as a ruler over themselves. They're here as subjects to raise us to our sovereign power. Well, how do you do that? You provide resistance, just like at the gym. If you go to the gym, and this is the reason some people don't like to go to the gym, it's because it's going to push against what you're trying to do. And some Moors have heard these hybrids come on this call, and they're like, I can't listen to it because those hybrids just make me sick. well, then you're going to have to strengthen up your mental. Don't let them govern your mental. You govern it. And don't let them stop you from participating in whatever it is that's going on in the nation. Because, see, if they can govern you that easily, what's going to happen if you get down to the United Nations building and you start speaking? And so one of them jump up and start acting stupid like, then what? Then what? Now, we done booted them out of the meeting and they sitting here ringing my phone, trying to get back in. No, you can't. They're ringing it right now. They're not going to stop us, I'm telling you. But some more won't even, they'll miss the information because of a troll. A troll. So that's their job, is they provide the resistance and then we raise ourselves above it into our godness. And we keep going no matter what. That's what the whole jail piece and them coming on talking about, yeah, Light went to jail, y'all going to jail. Shut up. Shut up. Nobody's scared of that. Nobody's scared of that. I'll still be myself no matter what. And no, we're not giving them consent and any of that. That's a wrap. So it's only when we become fearless that they have no power, no nothing. They get any power or authority that they thought they had or that they tried to make us think they had came from us. No, we're not afraid. No, we're not.
Islam.
Islam nobility.
You know, there is a verse in the Bible that says that at Jesus' death, he went into the lower parts of the earth and he set captivity captive. Huh? So therefore, there is a place where we need to go to set the captives free. I yield.
Yes. All day, every day. All day, every day, yes. So, more. So what? It's a hybrid in the way jumping around like a monkey. What do you expect? What you expect? Big deal. They're showing you that they know how to act. They're being themselves. When you be yourself, they're going to be themselves. And I'm not denigrating anybody. I'm just pointing out what they do. And what do? We keep going. We tell them peace, be still, and we keep going. Now, when we tell them peace, be still, they're going to be themselves. They'll be still for 2 seconds. Like now, we got them all quiet. They quiet. Right now, they quiet. But after a while, their nature takes over. And then they're trying to fight and come back through and, you lock the meeting, you turn off the chat, and they calling on the phone. And I done blocked them about 25 or 30 times, and they still get a different number and come again. And it's like, all right, we're just going to keep going. And whenever you show up, we just going to do what we do. Now, I will say this, though. We know they're speaking dead language and they're not talking to us. So I'm not talking to them, I'm talking to you all. They pointed out something about the First Avenue building. Now, we already know the building is ours. I can go down there right now and you will see that they can sign up there. It's ours. That's not an issue. And here's the thing. The ones that were doing business at the city, they put up a sign that they had a proposed use for it and they were going to do this and that and this and that. We slapped another lien on them, they had to stop. So Then, as time went on, I went back down there about maybe 2 months ago, or a month ago maybe. It's been about a month or a month and a half. Policy enforcers came. They couldn't do anything. You know, I was doing what I do, you know, putting up signage and things like that on the building. And they, you know, they cast their spells and did what they did. And I cast some spells back because I knew they were coming, handed them some documents, and they took the documents and actually put them in their pockets and kept the documents, because that's them saying, we can't just throw these on the ground. We can't say we're not going to, you know, we can't not take them. We have to take them. So, but that building, as time goes by, the ancestors have been telling me that the building is already ours. That's not an issue. But the ancestors told me that we got to claim the whole estate, not just one building. They don't want me to get focused on that one building because, you know, when we move in, the building is going to take a certain amount of energy and attention. We know that. And we're prepared for all of that. But they said, you got to claim the whole estate. And by you, they mean all Moors, not just me, everybody. We got to claim the whole thing. They just calling. So I'm not in a rush to get down there. It's already ours. We know that already. That's a wrap. But we do have to focus on the entire estate, and it is vast, and it's growing every day. Every time one of us is born, the estate multiplies exponentially. Every time another Moor is born, the estate grows. Every time there's an earthquake or a volcano, the earthquake happens, and the volcano spews up more lava and creates more land, the estate is bigger. The estate is bigger. I'm trying to speak between them continuously calling. So if it sounds a little choppy, it's because the phone is ringing, ringing, ringing. So it's in the Quran. Magistrate and subject means that we should have been judging the whole time. We should have been judging the whole time. We should have been judging the entire time. Okay. I want to open the meeting because there are some more who want to get in too. Are there any other questions or comments regarding any of the things that we've spoken about today?
Islam.
Islam, Memphis.
Yes. It's really strange, you know. It made a lot of sense to me what you just said about we all have to claim the estate, our estates. But you know, for a while I was sort of anxious about getting, you know, the postal service myself, because I felt that it would be easier to be, you know, get our system, you know, set up, because we claimed something that was ancient. It was the postal service, and it's ours, and then we could start the banking and make sure all of the mail got around, and you know, and all of that stuff. But I realized in order, you know, because, you know, we've been trying to send our documents out, and they've, you know, they've kind
Come
of,
on,
you know,
Pauline, why don't you tell?
They would disrupt, you know, our mail, and I felt that it would give us, you know, a clean way to get to each other. But then what started showing up was we didn't have to go that route. And for me, the first sign was it was Empress Sade, when she sent her court action by email. Then, you know, and it's like, you know, it's like things shifted, and that wasn't the only way that we can get, you know, our business taken care of. So I know, because, you know, I'm in.
Wait a minute.
So, you know, it's all right.
Go ahead, Empress.
I'm facing challenges. I'm facing my challenges myself to get my business done. But I realize as when she did that, there are other ways that are opening up. I can get my liens out there and everything that I need to get done with setting up my estate. So I'm finding that when we think we're going to get things done one way, that the ancestors are saying, yeah, you want to get that done at some point, but right now this is what you need to do. And it seems like it's a lot easier and more natural. I don't know if I'm making any sense, but I just wanted to say that. Islam. I feel like I'm rambling. Islam.
Yes, Empress. Empress, I remember you saying, you were stating some of your challenges. Oh, I live here and I'm going through this and I don't have access to that. And I'm like, Empress, you just don't know how powerful you are. All you got to do really is speak the word, and it's a wrap. But the ancestors want us to go through these tests so that we can see how powerful we are. And after a while, we realized that in the beginning, we've worked our way all the way back to, in the beginning was the Word. The Word was with God, and the Word was God. That's where we are now, where we just speak it onto the public record. But here's the thing. We cannot stop doing the liens and court actions and all of that right now. It's still too early. We have to still do that because we gotta nail that blackness. Because it keeps coming back every 200 or 300 or 400 years. It keeps coming back. We can look through history at the timeline. It keeps coming back. We don't need it to come back. So we're going to nail it this time. And keep it nailed down. Because that's going to keep plagues from coming. Because then they ain't going to have to fake a plague. None of that. It's gonna nail that stuff. Islam, nobility.
Islam. At the beginning of the call, you had made a comment about how you don't answer the phone calls because we have to go within ourselves to find solutions to situations. And I find that to be true. And I want to thank you very much. But I wasn't calling for that. But I was just saying, like, I have leaned, like, servicing companies, and then they will respond back with something else besides the lien. Okay, like within that lien, I had also sent some 1099As for tax purposes, so I'm still kind of going back and forth right now. But they mentioned the tax forms, but they didn't mention the liens and the cancel of the contract and the rescission of signature that was also included in the package. So I'm saying that to say this, I see what you're saying, that they won't address the things that are important, but they'll address the things that seem to be mundane and legal in their, from their perspective. So I'm doing the liens here with utility companies and things. I'm right to the point now where I'm about ready to present them with the delarium, and let it be known that that's from after this payment right here, there's no more. From now on, this is how it's going to be, and so that's where I'm at right now. So I just wanted to share that.
Yes. Empress, thank you for your demonstrations, and you specifically, Empress, you demonstrate mightily. It's almost like you don't even need anybody to, because you already know what to do. You know what to do.
Yeah, so, and the most part is my own. For the most part, it's my own hindrances. It has nothing external to do with things, but it's my own. Right. My own blockages or my own doubt within my own abilities. So I know this, and so now I'm being tested with this because, like, I keep getting presented with different situations to where I have to bring out what is told for me to do instead of looking somewhere else for the answer or calling Joe Blow to see what Joe Blow thinks. But instead of hearing those words that going through my head, just work with that, and that's what I've been. I'm in training. I'll say that I'm in training, and I will say that cause I was reaching out to you for assistance with court actions and stuff like that. But then it got to the point like I always hear you say you're sovereign. You can do what you want to do. You know, you could do it. I mean, within respect. You know, but you know, I hear that, and I'm ready to go on step 2 with the house down the street that I've taken. I kind of set back on that for a little while, but now listening to, like, if they just own a brick, I can still get the other 100 bricks. You know, so I'm gonna go ahead and pursue that, if nothing else, for them to pay me rent. So,
yes. And they need to pay in delarium. That way you keep jurisdiction over everything.
Right. I got to get that to them to where they have to understand what that is, you know, because they're difficult. Anyway, I'm not coming with no excuses, but, you know.
Yeah, they know what money is now. They know about that Constitution, and they know what money is. They know.
But, you know, average Hispanic person doesn't, you know, because they're so brainwashed and from the hybrid stuff that everything the hybrids say is God, you know, so it's kind of difficult, in my opinion, for the most part, to deal with them, you know, and that's what I'm dealing with, you know. So, but it's gonna work out. It's gonna be all right.
Of course it is, Empress. You already got everything locked down already. You know that it's. You just have to know that you got it locked down already. That's all, and that comes through the testing and the doing the demonstrations and seeing how it turned out, and then saying, okay, I'll do it again, but this time I'm gonna fix this and change this and do this. And...
Yes, ma'am. Exactly. That's exactly how it works.
Yes.
Sounds like we got another governor.
Yes, we do. Yes, she is. She is. She's doing it already. She's already governing. Yes. Islam. So, you know, when we talk about the average hybrid, the average modern European, they all know. I don't care if it's the cashier at Walmart, they all know, because that's a part of their genetic information. They all know. I went to, and I'm not going to say where I went because they'll go and harass the people, and I don't want them harassing those people. But the place that I went yesterday, even the cashier and all of them, they know that it's what we say and not what they say. They have these rules that are up on their establishment. And so I said something that was to the contrary of the rules that I was going to do. And they were like, okay, yes. And let's just make sure, are you still sure you want to do that? Okay, yes. Because I know it's not the law. And I was the only one without a mask. And they didn't even, that wasn't even what it was about. It was about one of their other rules where they say, for safety purposes, in no way can this happen. And I said, I want to do that. They said, okay. They know. When they see these turbans and fans is coming, they know. And there's an energy that we give off. It's not a war energy, though. It's not an energy of I'm better than you, or I'm going to tell you what to do, and I can do this, and I can. It's not that energy. It's just a knowing, a peaceful knowing that if anything, you know, that as long as things are lawful, we all good. Everybody's good. Everybody be happy as long as things are lawful. And if things, you know, get unlawful or somebody start trying to do something, the law. All rise and stand. Do you understand that you are hereby bound by the Constitution, in case you didn't know? But, you know, we don't throw it around with arrogance and all of that. It just is. It just is what it is, you know. And I haven't even had much interaction with those, and none with the people that were there, all hybrids, and they all knew. They all knew. Islam.
If I got a call from somebody got bumped off the call, Justice Orlando, and
yeah,
they're at it again. Islam.
Sometimes the platform does do that. I unlocked it. Sometimes the platform does do that, and other times it's, you know.
Come on, Pauline, take over First Avenue, Pauline. Take over First.
The fact that the moment I unlock the meeting that they pop in, that ought to tell you that they can see some things that we can't see. Because 2 seconds and they're right there. That means that they're, you know, and we're not afraid of any of that. We taught them everything they know. So we're not worried.
Why doesn't Shade help you?
It's just a matter of,
well, he's good at his job. That's all I can say. He's very, very persistent, you know. And I almost think he has a crush on you the way he likes to say your name all the time, Pauline.
If I had a name. That's how I know.
Right, if you had a name, yeah.
He likes saying a name, and I don't have a name.
I think he has a crush on you. He just loves saying that.
You know what? We love him. We love all of our creations. We love them.
Islam, Sister Light?
Yes.
Islam.
Now they're making videos. I look at when I look at your videos, they made videos 2 hours ago. You and I, you know, in class and all that kind of stuff. They're making actual videos and posting them. You know.
They love us.
I will say this. They do. They do. The more
we have their attention, definitely.
Yes, we do have their attention. And you know what they're doing? They're telling all other hybrids, hey, come look at this. Look.
Imitation. Imitation is the most serious
all of that.
form of flattery.
All of that. But I will say this: the more that come on, to, you know, when you all come on to the calls and then they start targeting you, that means you done stepped on some toes and snatched some sandwiches. Even if it's just by some things you say, that means you done stepped on some toes and snatched some sandwiches, and they are not happy about that at all. Or maybe they are happy, I don't know. Maybe they were tired of peanut butter and jelly. I don't know. But anyway, are there any other questions or comments or wisdom or any of that? I'm so excited for us because we have so much that we've accomplished so far in terms of getting our freedom, and we can actually see. Did you all see the latest quote unquote variant that I just heard about it Monday? The latest COVID-19 variant. It's the MOO variant. I'm like, really? This is how they spell it, y'all. Because we know what land we own. We know who we are. And they put it in all lowercase letters.
MOO variant.
Yes, the MOO variant. Now, Google the land of Moo. Google it. And then think about the language in terms of who we are and all of that. That's what it is right there. The MOO variant. And they say, oh, it's in all of the 49 states except Nebraska. And they said that like they were celebrating. They were saying that like we got to get somebody woke in Nebraska and then we'll be good. So they're going to go and harass the boys in Nebraska until they wake up. And that's not funny because I've been there. Y'all know I've been there. But it's just, you know, it's exciting to me about all of that, you know, about all that's happening with us and all that we're doing and the progress that we're seeing. After a while in the media, as soon as we speak life to the media, they'll start doing what they need to do. They'll start doing, generally it will be fluff pieces. They're going to start with fluff pieces first, just as an introduction. And when I say fluff pieces, they'll start with Moors who are running restaurants or things like that, and they'll start showing the food and saying, oh, this is great vegan food, and, you know, things like that. And then they'll start getting into what we really do, which is the law, the court, the government, etc., and the land and all of that. And they're making their way to that right now. When they start talking about noble omissions over, and you'll hear this in the video, in fact, let me open up the chat and put the links to the videos in there so that you can see where some of this information is coming from. That is it's just affirming information that affirms what we have already known about ourselves.
Islam
interest.
The media here, you know my situation with the media here. I have still been in contact with that reporter. I'm kind of trying to like flip her to get her to understand what she's really dealing with. So, you know, every now and again I'll shoot her an email with some information or the type of laws that we follow to support the support that I said I don't follow the law. And they took that out of context. So I would submit to her, you know, information dealing with what I was talking to and how it pertains to we as the Moors. And it doesn't, you know, our stuff doesn't apply to them, you know. So I've been doing that. So you said that we're going to get into the media. I'm looking at this as an opportunity to do that, you know, in a way.
Yeah. See, here's the thing about following the law. We don't follow the law. How do we follow ourselves? Please tell me how we do that. How can I follow myself? No, I just be myself. And then when they talk about no one is above the law, that's correct. No one is above the law. We're the law. No one's above us. They're giving us hints. We just have to know how to hear the hints. Here is the link in the chat. Here's the link to that nobility title, whatever that thing is that dude was doing, that the hybrid is doing. Here's the link to that. And then the link to the Seattle, to the article that was in the paper about the utilities that we referred to. Here's the link to that in the chat. And then the link to the Mark Christopher video where he is discussing all of this that we were talking about noble omission. And that's the term he used, because in reality, all we actually have to do is look in the laws of the UK to see the real everything that applies to us. Why do we look there? We look there because a lot of the hypothecation, all they did was put it in black ink and capital letters, but they left the word Moorish and Moors in. Whereas over here, they took all of that out. But in the UK, if you go out there and Google UK legislature Moorish court, it will tell you about our Moorish court. Except it has Moorish in black, and it has a capital M. But they name it, they call it Moorish, the Moorish courts, and what we did in our courts and how we were governing the land and all of that. In fact, let me see, maybe I can put a link to one of those in here too. One of those, because I've seen it several times, and I posted it on social media where the Moors could look to see about, and of course they're not going to say a whole lot about Moorish courts, but it said enough to know that our courts govern the land. Let me see if it will come up. Um, I see a couple of things, a couple of links. I'm going to put this one link without having read the story. I'm going to put this one link in the chat. You may want to look at that one. It says Moors Know the Law, Sovereign Legal Discourse in Moorish. Sovereign Legal Discourse. Open the link in any tab. And when you're looking these things up, you actually have to put all of the words that you're looking for in, oh, this is good. This is a course, a Cambridge University course. The link that I just put in the chat is a Cambridge University course. Wow. Let me put this on the screen also so that you can see. This is something serious. Cambridge University does a course and wow. Okay. See, over there they don't hide who the Moors are because Europe. Need I say more? It says, this is again, right here at the top, it says Cambridge University Press, Cambridge Core, browse subjects. So this is a course. Moors Know the Law, Sovereign Legal Discourse in Moorish Science, Religious Communities, and the Hermeneutics, or Hermeneutics, whichever you prefer, because that's pronounced either way, of supersession. Well, when we talk about supersession, you're talking about the Moors having the ability to supersede all others. And again, I'll put the link once again to that in the chat. So that, listen, they know who we are. Come on now. They know who we are. This is not a secret. And now that we know who we are, and I better put that link here also. The course is entitled Moors Know the Law. And again, if you look here, when did they put that out? The 16th of March, 2016, right before our new year. But see, they can look in the stars and see that it's almost time. They're going to be waking up. We better start putting some things out here so that, you know, whenever they're ready, they can look at it and see. And of course, they have all that in all capital letters and black ink and all of that. And we're going to take it out of capital letters and put it in all lowercase letters so that it's actually grammatically correct. And then there was another link that came up when I put that in. Let me go back so that you can see that link here. Judicial role, UK Parliament. And again, I put UK Legislature, Moorish Court. And this is what came up when I put in about Moorish Court. Judicial role, and they start talking about the Supreme Court. So let me see if I can find in here something about Moors. Okay. Okay, it didn't come up right now, and I won't spend a whole lot of time looking at it. I'll just check my Like to Thursdaye social media page so that and I'll post it when I pull it back up. And if I find it sometime soon, I'll put the link under this video. But make sure, Moors, that you go to go under this video and click like, and also put a little Islam under it, because that helps the algorithm, and it actually really helped yesterday. In terms of what we can see, we know they mess with the numbers. We're not worried about that, but we can do something about it. And I think it's by our agreement that we agree that the numbers go up or whether they go down. It just depends on whether we agree or not. And we agree. So with that being said, can you hear me?
Islam.
Okay. Okay.
Some static in the
background.
background.
With that, yeah. You know what? Let me tell you, I hear that static. Do you hear the clicking?
Islam.
Okay. That's them trying to let somebody know they're on the line. That's coming actually through my phone.
Wow.
When Edward Snowden talked about them recording everybody's calls and all that stuff, all they were really doing, and I'm going back to magistrate and subject, is looking for competent heirs. Because they knew that if they found enough competent heirs, that they would be saved. And that they could come out from under the United States Corporation Company safely. Because other than that, they are bound to capitalism. Because they've been capitalized too. Those hybrids that come onto this call, all they're doing is helping to weed out until the Moors, because you can't really weed out Moors. But it causes Moors who are a little weaker in their mental, in terms of the ones who say, I'm not even going to listen to that because I can't take it. Some hybrids just make me sick. Well, we gotta be able to be stronger than they are. I mean, they don't miss a meeting. And the minute I open the meeting, they're here again. They're watching and they're like, oh, did she open it yet? Is it open? Is it open? Like, really? And we have to actually be able to outlast them. Now, we built for it. We built for this. Believe that. and we're not asking anyone to believe anything, but we're built for this. So ain't no way they're going to stop. The stuff that I see in terms of this vast estate and what's available to us and what we're able to access when we all access it together, what? No stopping. No stopping. There is no chill. No chill whatsoever. So, any other wisdom comments? Yes, Justice Malik, thirsty. They are indeed that, and hungry too. The thirst is real in these sovereign lands.
One time I joined the meeting, and it was a little late. I jumped in late, and it was about 3 to 5 of them in there by themselves. And I tried to listen for them, and all the ones that's jumping in the meeting be chopping it up in like your room. After everybody gone out, they sitting there and talk. And I was like, hey, this problem. But this was the...
We can't hear you, Justice. Speak up a little bit. Speak up just a little bit.
Yeah, I was expressing that I jumped in your meeting. Can you hear me good?
Yeah, I can hear you now. Mm-hmm.
Okay, I jumped in the meeting one time late, and everybody had left. And it was about 3 to 5 people still in there. And it was them that be interrupting the room. And they was in there talking about stuff. And I joined. I sat there and listened for a little while. Then they started, noticing I was in there, and I left out of there. But they was in there talking when everybody was out meeting, like in your room.
How y'all gonna have a meeting on my line after we gone? How you gonna have your own meeting?
Sister Lake, it happens to me too. Sometimes I be those, and there'd be 5 or 6 of them. They're talking and having a good time, and I'm telling you, I yell. Oh shit!
You know what? We are their entire focus. Okay, their entire focus. But we created them. We should be, and we've been that the whole time. All this time, especially in my sleep, I used to think they just ignore us. They just kick us to the curb. They kick us around. They act like we don't exist. And all that. I was thinking that in my sleep. Look at them. You hear that static? Aren't they funny? They so cute. I used to think that, but it's like, wait a minute. The whole time y'all was watching. The whole time. It's kind of like when people are trying to say something without saying it. So they're trying to say things about us without actually telling us. That's how you know who the real topic is, what the real topic is. It's what they don't say that's the real deal. If they talking about it, it probably ain't, that's not the real intention. The real intention is going to be what they are trying to distract you from. See, I notice right now they focused on the building on first, but ain't said nothing about them DeLorean going around. They trying to stay off that subject. Stay off. It's what they don't say that we can hear. That's why we needed a third eye. That's why we needed one. Yeah. What they can't say. I'm trying to make it sound like there's some type of a, can you hear me? Okay.
Islam, they're trying to drown you out with that static. So that's all they ever
I hear that.
That's all they ever talk is static.
That. Speaking
with forked tongue.
Yeah, you know what? But you can't drown somebody that ain't in the water. I'm on the land. So I'm going to be here. I'm going to be here, period. With that being said, if there's nothing further, we will be back here again tomorrow at 7 p.m. Eastern. Please do go under the video and click like and put a little Islam or something under there so that we can make sure that this gets as far and wide as it can get. Thank you so much for being here. Let's keep sharing and talking to each other. Peace and grand rising to the sovereign, original, indigenous, natural defined Islam.
Grand rising to the Moors. Long live the empire.
Islam.
And the Moor.
Islam.
Grand rising.
Grand rising.
Islam.
Islam.
Grand rising. Islam.
Much love, much love, much love.
Oh, you got back in.
Peace to the nation.
Islam.
It cannot be stopped.
Y'all make me want to hug
It will
the
not be
computer.
stopped. Woo! Love it, love it, love it.
Islam.
Yeah. Okay, I'm going to disconnect in 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. Much love. Peace and love. Islam.